Alright, so I got the rear wheel back installed on the bike, so it's the moment of truth. For a single ring setup like this to work, chainline is very important. I am going to install a chain guard or hanger over here so the chain won't have a chance of falling off the front ring there. But the important thing is chainline. What do I mean by chainline? You want the bicycle chain to run approximately parallel with the frame here all the way toward the back, and you want, when the chain is on this ring here, obviously it's not going to any other ring in the front, when it's on this ring you want it pretty much in line with one of the middle cogs here on the back. That way when you go to the extremes, the far small one and the far big one, the angle in which the chain is at won't be as great. So I got a ruler here, or a tape measure, so we'll just go ahead and put the tape measure on the surface of the ring there, and we'll just put it down on the surface of one of these cogs, and then we'll just eyeball it. And to me it looks pretty straight. It looks pretty good. So this is the chain I'll be using, just a 9-speed chain. Let's go ahead and open up the box. Take a lookie at the chain. Beautiful looking chain. Let's go ahead and take this chain and put it on the wheel right now and on the chain ring, and let's see how everything lines up. Okay, so we got the chain on here, and the chain, we want to make sure the chain line is straight somewhere in the middle of the cassette. So if we jump to the 5th biggest cog, it looks pretty darn straight to me. I think our chain line should be fine. It looks like somewhere between the 5th and the 4th cog on the cassette, it is pretty darn straight, which is good. That's what we want. If that didn't work out that way, you would have to modify it somehow. You need a longer or a shorter length bottom bracket, spindle length. I just replaced I just put back in the same bottom bracket that was already in the bike, a 110 millimeter bottom bracket, which works for this frame with a 9-speed cassette. There was an 8-speed cassette. The cassettes are the same size pretty much, so it makes sense that it all sort of lines up. Other ways you can adjust it, you can put spacers on the chainring bolts, you can put a spacer on the bottom bracket drive side, as long as the non-drive side still has some threads. You can put a spacer, like I said, on the drive side. The spacer would be a metal spacer. It wouldn't have any notches in it. It'd be like a spacer you find on a cassette between the cogs. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Looking good so far. I'm going to actually reuse the bicycle crank on my bike because the other one I have has a 1/8 inch chainring, which means the chainring teeth here are thicker, so they won't work with a more narrow multi-speed chain. So we're just going to reuse this crank here, and I'm just putting on some chainring bolts right now, and just to demonstrate using this Park Tool CNW-2, you just hold the tool up against the nut here on the back, or the bolt hole in the back, and those 2 notches. You just stick a tab in the middle there like that, and then press it against the back of the chain wheel here, and with it held like that, then you'll use an Allen key on the other side to tighten it while holding it in place on the back with this tool. Alright, so let's go ahead and mount the Bullhorn handlebars. These are my new handlebars I'm going to put on this bicycle. I already greased the threads here, so we're just going to reuse the stem. And let's just get the bolts back in here for the handlebars. And we're going to install this such that the bolts are screwed in evenly for each one. It's starting to come together. Now what I'm trying to do is figure out, where am I going to want these handlebars at exactly. I think I'm going to want this part of the handlebar here, I think I'm going to want it pretty much parallel with the ground. I think that's what I'm going to really want this at, rather than like up higher or down low. Now obviously the stem is angled pretty much straight up there. I could, you know, get it to go down more or get another stem or something angled differently. I think we're just going to try it like this, and I'll probably ride it a little bit.